Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watts UK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. The matchup is set. The National League Championship Series will be the New York Mets versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers shut out the Padres again in Game 5. I mean, unbelievable. The Dodgers shut out the Padres for 24 innings in a row. Who would have thought that could have happened? But this is going to be the fourth time that these two teams have faced off in the playoffs. The Dodgers won the NLCS in 1988. The Mets won earlier series in both 2006 and 2015. And so this is going to be the first time since 1988 that they are playing for the opportunity to go to the World Series. There's a little bit of bad blood in here. I don't know quite how personal it is. I think the biggest issue to really take from it is that Yoshinobuyamamoto spurned the Mets for the LA Dodgers. He wanted to be in LA. Basically, the New York Mets made him a very substantial offer. He took that contract back over to the LA Dodgers and said, "Will you pay us this?" They said, "Yeah, of course, let's work it out." Deal got hammered down pretty quickly. And he hasn't been great this year. He's had his moments of being very good. He's been hurt at times, and he did pitch Game 5. So you know that he's not going to be there early on in the series, probably not until Game 3. It's in Citi Field. The MVP matchup, very intriguing. Shoheiohtani, Franciscolindor. There are a lot of people who would say that had Lindor not hurt his back, he could have an argument for possibly have overtaken Ohtani. Ohtani, all-time historic season, that 50 home runs, 50-plus steals as well. But then there is that stigma about giving the MVP to a designated hitter. Well, let's find out who winds up being the MVP of this series. Now, looking at these two teams, we're going to talk about a couple of notable things and notable players with each one of these squads. I would say the Mets definitely have the deeper starting pitching staff. They have a legit six-man rotation that they could use, and several of those starters, of course, will be used to shore up a bullpen that has struggled for the most part. The Dodgers, elite bullpen. Look at Game 4 against San Diego. It seemed crazy that they would have to use all of their relievers because they are so lacking on starters to get through that game when their backs were against the wall. They were facing elimination and playing in Petco Park when that San Diego crowd was just ready to celebrate. And the Dodgers shut them out, and it gave them the opportunity to win the decisive fifth game at home, and they did. So they really have three starters, Yamamoto, who we mentioned, Jackflaherty, and Walker Buehler, upcoming free agent, by the way, who's been injured most of the season. Now, Flaherty has probably been their best starter, last pitched on October 6th in Game 2. So he'll have plenty of rest, pretty much a full week. I would think he would start Game 1, then Buehler in Game 2, then Yamamoto in Game 3. I could see a situation where they might go with a bullpen game in Game 4. Or if they're desperate, do you turn everybody back around and then go Flaherty, Buehler, and Yamamoto for Games 4, 5, and 6? That's a big decision that Dave Roberts is going to have to make. And that lineup LA has, well, Shoheiohtani, mookiebetts, Freddie-Freeman. It's hard to find a better 1 through 3 in the game. Now, Freeman's ankle, you can see if you watch this game, huge problem. He could hit fine, but just watching him grimace, see what I did there? Watching him grimace as he rounded the bases, you could tell he is hobbled, and it's going to be an issue for the rest of the season for him. But Teoscarhernandez has been their best hitter this series, and Kikehernandez, man, he's one of those players who just gets better as the stakes get higher. He hits the decisive home run, the game-winning home run tonight off Yu Darvish, and you know what? The Dodgers never relinquished that lead. And they're also very good against left-handed pitchers. That's important to know. They have one of the top 2 offenses in baseball against lefties. I think that matters because the Mets would be very likely to pitch 2 lefty starters in the series, Manaea and Quintana. But they're also very home run happy. Of their 24 runs that they scored against San Diego in these 5 games, 16 of them came on the long ball. So I think that is going to be very pivotal. The Mets have to keep this team in the ballpark. And the fact that they got to play 3 games at Citi Field, more of a pitcher's park, I think that's going to be a very significant issue. Now, a couple of things with the Mets that I want to mention as well. I wanted to recognize a couple of players. Petealonso in the 2024 postseason has raised his game. His slash line is 273 batting, 433 on base, 727 slug, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Been absolutely fantastic. Markvientos, 4 consecutive multi-hit playoff games. Only 2 Mets have ever done that. Todd Zeile and Daniel Murphy. And even though LA does have a very threatening bullpen, you got to remember, the Mets have been playing teams who have been renowned for their bullpens, especially Milwaukee. You know, the Brewers' bullpen in that wild card series was 5.85. And the Brewers' bullpen was one of the best, if not the best, all season. The Phillies' bullpen also very highly regarded. Against the Mets, their ERA in the division series, 11.37. In 27 innings against opponents' bullpens in the playoffs, the Mets have scored 26 runs. So the Mets could have done it against 2 very good teams, against 2 very good bullpens. They're going to have to do it again if they're going to come out on top. And also Josequintana. I want to talk about the pitching for a little bit. Josequintana, I still don't feel like Met fans respect him quite enough. I saw one guy who was trying to set up the rotation, and he had Quintana pitching, I think it was game 4. Why would you only want to see him, possibly once all series? So in 3 straight postseason starts, Quintana has allowed 1 unearned run on 6 hits, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts in 11 innings pitched. And in 3 straight postseason starts, he has gone 5+ innings pitched with no earned runs allowed. Why would you only want to use him one time? You know, the only other pitcher has a longer streak since earned runs became official in 1913, Whitey Ford. 5+ innings pitched, no earned runs, and 3 straight postseason starts. Only Whitey Ford has done that with 4 straight starts. That's how good Quintana's been. Now, as far as the Mets rotation goes, I would start Shoheiohtani game 1 because he will be on regular rest. I know he pitched game 3, but he has enough rest. And I think at this point, as good as he is in Citi Field, you got to put your horses out there right up front against that lineup. So I'd go Manaea, then Luis Severino, because he has been pitching on the road a lot, and he has been very, very good, been up to the task. Then I would go with Josequintana. Game 4, I'd come back with Kodai Senga. Now, I believe Senga this weekend threw 45 pitches in sort of a simulated game. So he could use a little bit more rest, I think, at this point. And now when he comes back, he might be up to throwing 60 to 70 pitches. And then, of course, you have David Peterson and Tyler McGill if you need some additional innings behind him. David Peterson, speaking of him, how about these numbers? 5 relief appearances in the playoffs, and he's allowed only 6 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. 3 relief appearances against Philly, not a run allowed in over 6 innings pitched. Who would have thought, even at the beginning of the season, coming off hip surgery, that David Peterson could be such a weapon? And there's one more thing with the Mets that I think we need to address as well, and that is the roster construction. And to me, you have to find a way to put JeffMcneil on this roster. Now, this weekend, he is playing in the Arizona Fall League. I know he got at least 1 hit tonight. If all goes well, as long as that wrist is feeling good, he should be activated for this National League Championship Series. Now, some people will not like that. Talk about, he's got too much attitude. He and Lindor still hate each other. Why would you change anything with this roster? The karma's good. Here's the thing. McNeil should at least be on this roster to platoon at second base. I know everybody loves Jose Iglesias. Candelita, oh my God. Great attitude, great defense, all true. Can't take any of that away from him. Hit amazingly well during the regular season. But in the 5 spot in the playoffs, he's batting just 6 for 29. And we've seen too many at-bats when he has runners in scoring position, swings at the first pitch, usually an off-speed pitch, and grounds out or pops out. So you at least need the option if he is not hitting. Of course, you could remove Luis Angel Acuna. Some people would not be big on that, of course. But McNeil is just a better hitter than Acuna right now. Acuna is great for speed, for defense, but McNeil won a batting title a couple of years ago. And also this Mets roster, the hitting is decidedly right-handed on the bench. If Jesse Winker's playing, your bench is all pretty much right-handed. Think about it. Bader, Acuna, Luis Torrens. So you need a little bit of balance there as well, I think, especially with all these relievers that Dodgers have to throw at you. So here's the other option. You can use an extra position player and let go of one of your pitchers and take them off the roster. The Mets have two pitchers who have not pitched in the playoffs that have been on the roster the entire time, in Adam Ottavino and Danny Young. Neither of them have been seen in the month of October. So if that's going to remain the case, you're basically playing with a short deck here. Drop one of them and add another bat and let it be McNeil. Now, Danny Young, I would understand if you want that second lefty to go against Ohtani or Freeman. Not that I'm overly excited about that possibility. Where's Jake Diekman when you need him, right? I know. Where's Brooks Raley? That's who we really miss. But Ottavino, here's the thing. Ottavino hasn't given up a hit or a run in almost a month now. It was the last time that the Mets played Philadelphia in the regular season. But Ottavino last pitched in the doubleheader against Atlanta at the end of the regular season and threw 2 shutout innings against the Braves. So I would expect one of these pitchers to be dropped. I would just like the extra bat option. And to me, I think McNeil would help make this lineup just a little bit deeper. I think the Mets already have about the deepest lineup in baseball right now, something I never thought I would say, but I think it is really that deep. And if you have like a batting champion hitting in that 7 to 8 range, oh my goodness, how good is that? But as far as a prediction, you know what? I predicted the Mets to beat Milwaukee in 3. I picked them to beat Philly in 5. It was 1 game off there. I think this is going to be really difficult. I mean, I didn't really realize until a couple of days ago just how good this LA bullpen really is. You know, Ohtani has not exactly been Superman. Freeman is hobbled. Mookie Betts, great player, but he hasn't exactly been hitting the cover off the ball. You know, did hit a big homer or 2, but, you know, his average has been down as well. I think this is going to be a long series. I really wish it was a 2-2, 1-1-1. I hate 2-3-2. I just hate when home field is set up that way. But that's baseball, and you know what? The Mets have been clinching on the road a lot, except for this last series against Philadelphia. I'm really going on gut feel here because each team has certain advantages. Each team has certain disadvantages. I'm gonna go Mets in 6. I think they're gonna do it. I feel like these types of bullpens can only go so long, and the Mets just have too much depth. As good as San Diego's lineup was, I thought, man, they didn't score for 18 straight innings. I'm a little worried that the Mets are prone to that. It's going to be a tough series, but I'm going to go Mets in 6. We'll see what winds up happening. But Sunday night is going to be game 1. Should be something else. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.